Bonsoir! I'm the Mademoiselle and Deuxième Chanel. Welcome to another video. As you guys can see, we're not going to be doing another religion breakdown because y'all playing in my face. Y'all didn't even get the last one to 500 likes. So I'm trying to understand, like, what? Like, there's too many of y'all that be watching these videos to not hype, not like, not comment, not do anything. So until we get the previous video to 500 likes, we are going to move on. So with that being said, welcome to another voodoo story time, which I know you guys love these. Today's story has to do with an infertility story time. I haven't done one of those in a really long time because honestly, I find it real creepy, and I feel like it's one of those things where it's left to your interpretation. It's one of those things where you can be like, okay, well, maybe the person always had infertility issues. Maybe that person always had issues having kids. Maybe it's not black magic, but I don't know. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions down below. And if you have somebody that's went through something similar, I would also love to hear your story down below. We're going to bring this story back to early 2000s in Haiti, right? Now, there was a couple. We're just going to name the couple Jonathan and Samantha, right? Jonathan and Samantha were together for a very long time since they were children, and they literally vowed that they would be together forever. However, unfortunately, as many of you guys know, when you're really young and you make such a commitment, sometimes one person might want to stray, right? And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because when you're young, you don't necessarily know what you want. You might know you want this person. You might know you want to be with this person and that you love this person. However, that decision can change at any given moment. You can probably really love this person, but still want to venture out, try new things, see if there may be somebody out there. And unfortunately for Samantha, that's how John felt. Okay, Jonathan felt like, you know what, maybe there's something else out there for me. He wanted to be a hot boy. He wanted to be out with his friends, experiment a little bit with other girls. But Samantha was very upset about this. Like, she did anything in her power to try to keep Jonathan, including doing a love binding spell on him so that he would be bounded to her forever. As many of you guys know, if you've been on this channel before, if you know anything about love spells, sometimes they do backfire. A lot of the times they do and can backfire really, really bad, making the person violent, irritable, or hate you for the rest of their lives. Like, sometimes it could work for years, and then one day that person will wake up, they'll snap out of it, and they no longer even want to be in your presence. They can't even tolerate looking at you. So that's why I always tell people, don't do the love spell shit. If it's meant to be, it will be. There's no point and no use in doing love spells on somebody that you already have. Why are we doing love spells on our husbands and wives when they're already our husbands and wives? Like, I think that's absolute insanity. But in the case of Jonathan and Samantha, they weren't married, but they were together for a very long time. And Jonathan just kept straying away. Like, for him, Jonathan felt like, you know what? I love her. I want to be with her. However, you know, it comes to a point when you're doing crazy shit, trying to keep me around, being rude and disrespectful, not respecting my wishes, that's when things start to truly get out of hand. So Jonathan had caught wind of Samantha doing this love spell because his family was very spiritual as well. A lot of his friends and family saw that he was acting very strange, and they were like, yeah, you need to get away from this girl. So Jonathan sought to break things off with Samantha once and for all. By this point, they were early 20s. They had been together since middle school, and Samantha did not take this too well. It was then that Samantha lied and said that she was pregnant. And Jonathan was like, listen, I don't know what you expect me to do about this. Like, this is not going to bring us closer together. I still don't want to be with you. Now, unfortunately, a lot of women tend to do this because they think it's going to keep the man, or it's going to make them love them more, or make them come together. But unfortunately, a lot of men are actually pieces of shit, and they don't give a fuck that you have a baby by them or not. So this kind of backfired really bad on Samantha. Jonathan took the news rather terribly and was like, listen, I don't want to be with you. This doesn't mean we're getting back together. I will take care of my responsibility and that's it, but we're done. And this made Samantha furious. But before we get into the rest of this video is sponsored by me. If you guys are not aware, I finally started my nonprofit, LakayRo, which is a Haitian and Afro-diasporic dance company, giving dance to underprivileged youth and adults. Those of you guys who are in New Jersey, by the time this video gets posted, July 13th to July 16th, we are having a Konpa intensive set of classes every night at 7 p.m. And I cannot wait to see you guys there. All the proceeds will go to starting the LakayRo Youth Dance Company for the upcoming dance season in September 2026. All the money is going to go to securing us a space. If you can't come or you want to directly support the initiative, make sure you guys peep the links down below or you scan the lovely QR code on your screen. Shout out to those of you guys who have sent in donations or came to the classes. I appreciate you so much. If you can't, just share the campaign and most notably follow us on Instagram for updates. Honestly, the whole situation with Jonathan and Samantha got really, really nasty with them like sitting here throwing spells on each other, going to mumbles, or going to do all types of crazy shit when all they had to do was leave each other alone. Like, to be honest, I don't know how hard it is to leave each other alone after you break up with someone, but for a lot of people, it proves to be very difficult. Like, people just always want to go out their way to do what doesn't need to be done, and I can never understand it. So when it came to Jonathan, Jonathan tried to get a spell done on Samantha to basically make her never love anyone ever again, basically make her lonely and miserable. And honestly, I don't know if that one ever worked. She's still alone and miserable. I ain't gonna hold you. So maybe it did work. However, Samantha fired back with an infertility spell on his future spouse. So by this point, Jonathan had got with another woman. We're just gonna call her Casey. And Casey was the complete opposite of Samantha. Like, she didn't do anything. She was very religious. She wasn't into voodoo, black magic, anything like that. Minded her own business. She was in school. She was a tad bit younger as well. So honestly, this was a complete breath of fresh air for Jonathan. And she really wasn't with the mess. She wasn't messy. There were numerous times where Samantha tried to go at her and try to beat her up, all types of shit, threaten her. And Casey just ignored the fuck out of her. Every time she called her phone, don't ask me how she got her number. I don't know how Haitian women be doing this shit. Like, I've even had occasions in, like, back in the day where these women wanted to fight me over a nigga that was never even that fucking serious. In some way, somehow they got my number. I'm thinking the dude gave it. That's the only thing that makes sense, because how else would you get my number? The yellow pages? But yeah, like, everywhere they went, everything they did, Samantha knew their every move. She would show up to their dates. She would do all types of crazy shit. And this persisted for at least 2 to 3 years into Casey and John's relationship. Now, a normal person probably would have just let John go. Okay. Don't nobody got time for this. Fuck this shit. I'm gonna go about my business. However, Jonathan received the opportunity to come to the States via his family. His family had been bringing everyone in, and he was one of the few that got the opportunity to go over there and have a better life. Right before he left, he married Casey, sent for Casey in the States. Now, while this is happening and during the migration to the US, they have been trying for a child, but they had no luck. Jonathan did not take Samantha's spell that seriously because he feels like, she tried to do a love spell on me before. I broke that shit. Fuck that. Her magic or wherever she going to is not that special. But I mean, apparently it did something, because Casey was never able to get pregnant by Jonathan, like, at all. No matter how hard she tried, no matter how many kids she got pregnant with, she lost all of them, totaling about like 8 different miscarriages. Like, it was really, really bad. But even though John kept saying he didn't want to be with her, he's not going back to her, etc., they did go on to have 4 kids together. Okay, 4. So if you guys are using common sense, it's obvious he's going back and forth between Casey and Samantha. When things aren't good with Casey, he's going to Samantha. When things aren't good with Samantha, he's going back to Casey. But at the same time, he keeps saying he don't want to be with Samantha ever again. But you sit there, you have 4 kids with her. Make it make sense. I don't understand, but that's what ended up happening. They ended up having 4 kids together, and she was never low. Okay, she was never trying to hide what she did. She was never trying to hide her hands. Like, even with the love spell situation, she was like, I don't give a fuck. Like, you tied to me forever. I don't give a fuck. And even with the kids, she'd be like, yeah, and that's why you're never going to have kids with nobody else. I don't give a fuck. You can leave, but you're never going to have kids with anyone else. These are our kids. You are mine type shit. Like, that's the shit that she was on. That's the type of time she was on. And I mean, I guess I don't agree with it, but I mean, hey, whatever suits your fancy. So fast forward, Casey and Jonathan end up moving to the US. Jonathan went first, then he sent after Casey and his kids. Heavy on the and his kids. For some crazy reason, right? Samantha thought that he was going to send for her and the kids, but he took his kids and sent for Casey. And this caused so much controversy to the point where she went right back to whatever spiritual practitioner to try to kill Jonathan. And Jonathan got sick, like he was on his deathbed. I don't know what type of spirits Jonathan got protecting him, but most of the time when somebody strike you sick with some voodoo shit, you don't make it back. Okay, you don't make it back like that. But he bounced back. He's healthy now. I think he's like in his 60s. He's doing so well now. But he had gotten so sick to the point where people thought he was gonna die. Like, they were reading him his last rites. As a Catholic, Catholics know they were doing the anointing of the sick on him. Like they really thought that he was going to pass away. But he bounced back super strong. It's been over maybe almost 15 years since he was super sick, but the doctors did say he has a potential to get sick again, and now he has a vulnerability to getting strokes. I believe he had like 2 strokes back to back. I don't know, that nigga seemed pretty fine to me. Like at the time when all this was happening, when I was hearing about these stories, I was a kid, and over time I was hearing, bits and pieces of it, and I decided to put it together for you guys as a forewarning. Don't fuck with people that openly tell you that they're doing shit to you, because this is probably one of the very few stories that I've told or that I know of where the person was blatantly doing shit and telling everybody that they were doing shit and everybody knew about it in some way, somehow. The person just kept going back and forth. So now that I think about it, maybe the love spell did work, because, he kept bouncing between Samantha and Casey. So at the end of the day, I mean, I guess she got what she wanted. The nigga was technically tied to her, but shout out to his family for bringing him to the States, because he was finally able to get rid of her and not be in her face all the time and be able to have a stable family unit with Casey. Now, when it comes to Casey and the other 4 kids, they've had an amazing relationship. She's practically been a mom and a grandmom to those kids and their kids' kids. Like, honestly, I was younger when I was hearing a lot of these stories, so I wasn't really privy to all the details. I didn't know that Casey was not those kids' real mother until maybe a few years ago. I went to an event with them and I was like, oh my God, like she's so cute. Like, look at her and her grandkids. And, my mom was like, that's not her grandkids. And I said, what you mean that's not her grandkids? She said, that's not their grandkids. That's not even their mom. And that's when she started like, yo, remember what we used to tell you? And I was like, wow. And she laid the whole story out for me. And I'm like, oh my God. She's been an amazing stepmother to them. They literally only see her as their mom. They don't really regard Samantha. Samantha's still alive in Haiti, from what I understand, never got remarried. She's been sick a couple of times. She hasn't been doing well health-wise, but she's still alive and kicking. Unfortunately, Casey has not been able to conceive a child with John at all. From what I heard, I don't know how true this is, but I heard Casey might have another child out there with someone else, like in Haiti somewhere, but I don't see her or Jonathan abandoning that child and not trying to bring them here. I don't know what the backstory is with that, but she hasn't ever been able to get pregnant by John at all. And it's always been a thing that people talk about. It's like one of those things like everybody knows, like it's so sad that, Casey can't have kids because of what Samantha did to her. What an evil bitch. Like people really just be talking about that situation just out in the open. And I will say it is evil and it is fucked up. And I will tell you again, it is never that serious to do a love spell or an infertility spell on someone. I think it's actually terrible and it's sick, because knowing how bad miscarriages can get, how much it takes such a physical and emotional toll on a woman, I think that's just horrible to inflict on another woman. I don't care what the circumstances are. I don't care that you're high school, middle school, whatever, sweetheart, you've been together forever. Like, she made it seem as if like Casey took her nigga or something, and that really wasn't what it was. And even if she did, like, it doesn't warrant all of this. Like, I just think it's extra. No man is that special, that important, or worth your soul, okay, to cast that type of fucking spell. So with that being said, comment down below. Have you had anything similar happen to you or a loved one? I'd love to hear it down below. Shout out to those of you guys who have been supporting the nonprofit. It means so much to me. For extra support, scan the QR code right here on the screen. I can't wait to see you in the upcoming classes. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Check out my other channels, because when I'm not posting here, I'm posting there. We do have a $1 7-day Patreon trial for those of you guys who've been interested. This is your time to go check it out. I have dedicated series and uploads on there, and I guarantee you're going to love it. And after that $1, it's only $5 a month, which is like $60 a year. Shout out to those of you guys who are already on the Patreon and or the membership. Shout out to those of you guys who subscribe to everything. Like, I love you guys so very much. Again, get this video to 500 likes. Type it on your way out. With that being said, like, share, and subscribe. And I'm going to see y'all next time. Bye!